Young blood.
Yes.
You guys talked about that you're considering surrogacy.
Oh, wow.
Any updates? Anything you want to share with us, or how were you
How's
guys
that
doing?
been?
Yeah.
It's on pause.
Is it?
Okay, why?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at a point where my career is starting to do and reward me for all of my efforts and the time that I've been in this business.
Yep.
And a baby for me right now would just not
Yep.
be the thing to do.
Yeah.
So what I offered him was an opportunity for us to take a break for a year or two.
What?
And let him go find someone to have a child with.
Stop it.
And then when he has his baby, we could get back together.
You
So wait a
would
minute,
genuinely be
wait a
okay
minute.
with that?
Hold on. So
Yeah.
you're giving him permission. So what happens, let's say he follows through and has this baby. Do you help raise the baby?
I would help raise the baby. It's just I don't want to have it. I don't want to go get my eggs and all that. It's
Good.
Hello, everyone. And going by the clip you just watched, you can sense what we're going to be discussing today. So let me welcome you to the hottest talk show everywhere you're watching us, because baby, we global. This is where I expect people to be clapping. Yay! But if you are just catching us, which you shouldn't just be catching us, let me reintroduce these beautiful faces to you. My gorgeous co-host, Celia, and the lady in red, Shade. I don't know where she's morphing in with our Christmas tree and things. A man on the streets, Funsho. I won't disown you, but I own you. And obviously reporting from Las Gidi is Ajike. Now, let me just bring everybody back to reality. Actress and ex-baller. I think she was in Basketballer's Wife, wasn't it? Ex-basketballer, yeah.
And then she had this reality
Bowman.
show.
Yeah, she made a shocking announcement when she said she gave her a much younger husband, the permission to take a break for a year or two for him to father a child with another woman and then return to her, because obviously her career is now booming and is doing well. She's invested a lot of money and energy into it, and a baby will not do it for her. You know, women can be very selfless. So, ladies and gentlemen, and Funsho, sorry you're in this precarious situation, because you know, women, we always make sacrifices for you men. Like on this show, we make sacrifices for you. We try to wear red lipstick for you. Just make your life comfortable, the things we do.
Okay.
So, let me go to the women first. Ajike, Celia, and Shadi. As a woman, what do you think of this lady and the options she has given her husband? I'll start with Celia, because I can see she's ready to go.
Raring to go. I'm a bit confused. So there isn't any medical issues with her. It's
There
just that-
isn't any medical issue. Let me just, so apparently they've tried surrogacy. She's had a couple of miscarriages. It's not as if her eggs are not viable, but she just does not want to have a child. It's going to impact on her career. The husband is 38. She's 51. She's got 2 children. This guy has got no child, and he's an only child.
Okay, so she has tried. She's had several miscarriages. They used surrogacy, and the surrogacy didn't work either.
No, they didn't. They just didn't. They haven't gotten to surrogacy. It wasn't
Oh,
something they
okay.
considered.
Well, in a way, if you look at it, I think what she's doing with this man and the other woman is kind of surrogacy, right? That's how I see it.
They're not using her eggs.
Or they're not using her eggs.
She's not involved in the production of this child.
So
without
is
the lack
her
of
husband going to sleep
But
with
it's
the other
still
woman?
surrogacy. That's what they call it. That's surrogacy. Gestational is when your own egg and the person's sperm, like your husband's sperm, is being carried by someone else. But what they did is traditional surrogacy.
In this case, with a surrogate, you wouldn't have a relationship. So what she's saying is they're taking a break for a year or two for him to go find a person, have a baby, and then come back.
I mean, he must really love her to be coming back to her after having a relationship with another woman, having a child, and then come back to her. I mean, there must be something there that would make him come back. Maybe financial reasons or something, because I don't see how he's going to go and start a new family with somebody else and then come back to her, an older woman, 51, 38. I don't know. But kudos to her for being able to make that kind of decision, because it's not an easy thing to do at all. Because then you stand the risk of not getting that relationship back, and he might just fall in love with the person he has the baby with and might just want to start up another family there and completely forget about her. So yeah, I mean, kudos to her, really.
Okay.
But I can never do that. except I'm going to end
we'll
that
come
relationship.
back to that.
Yeah.
Ajike, so given what we've just discussed, what do you think of Tammy's options? And it's very rare for a woman to make a decision like this, and we will come back to the patriarchy word of how we think about things. But as a woman, what do you think of Tammy's options and the reason as to why she might want to do this?
This thing, I first realized that the human brain and the human spirit, it can go anywhere, anyhow, any which way. But someone that has walked the streets of infertility once and twice, it is sometimes you don't take the conventional. At times it's just not. Maybe she just felt at 51, how valuable are my eggs? Then maybe she just didn't want adoption. Some people just don't embrace adoption. It's not as easy as people say. Even going to pick an embryo, some people do embryo adoption. You can also do that. What are the, what is the person's genetics comes to play? Some families have cancer, they have diabetes. The same way some family, your genes can be inherently good. Some people's genes can be inherently bad. So maybe she just feels okay. Maybe you can find a young girl that's, and maybe fall in love, maybe know her character, and maybe you can get some good eggs from her or get a good child from her. We think very, very, very differently and I don't know, I cannot just judge her. Me, I cannot do it. Me, Ajike, I cannot do it. But for someone, I've come to realize in the infertility space, some people make decisions that will look strange to you, but to them, they are okay. And as long as they are okay, because me personally, I think the reason why I didn't embrace adoption and I did not embrace donor eggs was because I just felt, my family, we've had a lot of, health issues. And I'm like, okay, these are the ones that I know. I will not go and carry somebody's egg. Maybe this madness that is running their own family.
Wow.
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 It's the truth. I am stating the truth and the facts. I'm not saying this thing because I'm trying to be mean. No, I actually watched a program on TLC where the girl was, she was born via a donor egg. I know she had to start investigating. She began to have health issues. And luckily, somebody else, she had a brother somewhere in, America keeps the record. It's not Nigeria where you can go to hospital, just dash somebody's egg. You don't know that they have spiritual problem in their family.
Oh my God.
I beg. So for me, if I start, we will not finish. So maybe she just felt okay. Maybe meet someone that you would like physically, and have a child with this person. Maybe tell the person what we are doing, that this child, you are bringing the child to come and meet me. Will she accept? Will she agree? I don't know. Some people, I don't know.
All right, let me jump in there.
Before I come to you 1 second, because I know, but let me go back to Ajike for 2 seconds, and I'm just going to vein into infertility. You and I walked the corridors of infertility, and do you think that sometimes people that go through infertility kind of, and I'm not trying to be insensitive here, allow different things to go in the quest to have a child? So in this case, this family, so things that you would rationally think about in your quest to have a child. You become irrational. You are becoming it's an emotional disease. I don't know how to explain it. Fine, your body is not doing what it's supposed to do. Since you've been young, they'll be telling you don't touch a man or you get pregnant. You've not touched the man, nothing's happening. There's so much to, your brain is somebody. In fact, so like me, I used to think of it. Okay, somebody got married, and I'll be thinking, she might get pregnant before me, and she will. She will even give birth to 2 or 3 children. So you can imagine at that time, you could almost do, the only thing I did not do to have a child is to go and meet a god of Orunmila or god of, so I gave half of my money. I gave everything. I would go to Shield, I go to Winners. You understand? They will tell you, this person did this person, you two just carry your money, go give to pastor. I've made pastor my money, I'm going to give it tomorrow. God did it for me, the one I have. In fact, the boy is a living walking miracle. I tell anybody that gets to listen. But even after that, I went on to secondary infertility. I've tried, I've done, but just that maybe it's a bit easier this time. I said I will have enough. And I've just embraced the one and done community, and I'm running with it. But some people don't have that one to even be done. So they have to, at times, they just go through. People steal babies. What are we talking about? Is this even okay? She's doing it. Some people are stealing children.
conniving with doctors, conniving with nurses, telling mothers that gave birth that their baby died, still their babies. You know, so it, as unconventional as this sounds, it's not illegal.
Okay, you're quite right. Thank you for that. Okay, Shade, let me go to you. And you're already
now.
laughing.
I'm
So-
speechless now because that went to a different
No, because I just wanted her to
Realm, innit?
kind of drill
yeah,
it in.
you got me really. That
Yeah.
was deep. That was deep.
We go deep in trash it.
That was deep. Because well, when I saw the video you sent to me, I felt like it was a decision based on just a career, you know. But if it's on fertility, that's even a deeper. She would have thought well about it, and I'm sure she didn't come to the decision just overnight, you know. And I actually think kudos to her. I actually think it's fair. Why do I have to put myself through that because you want to have a child? I think it's even I respect the both of them because that's actually what I want marriage to be about. It shouldn't be about one person putting a lot on the other person. We should talk about it. We should decide. It's about love. It's about being happy. If he's going to be, because whether she likes it or not, he might go behind her back and still have a baby mama. Oh, we know how. Is it Chloe's boyfriend is spreading everywhere? You know, we know what's
Is it
going on.
that one is good
Yeah.
now. Most
That
Nigerians,
one is a
why
choice
is
like
your,
next
is where your
time
father died?
But
You know how
it's
many
spreading
people
it.
are.
So it's I think I respect her to come sit down and say, I'm willing to share you with somebody else. Go sort your life out because you really want that child. For her to make that decision, that guy would have been really on her case to have a baby. She would have tried a couple of times, but she couldn't do it to herself as she's putting herself first. And I wish a lot of women would do that. We don't. We put our careers behind. We the ones that go through the process, like what Ajike just said. I have siblings that have gone through it. I have not personally gone through it, but you know it's different when I tell someone, oh, God will answer your prayer. I'm praying for you. You're not the one going through it. So that's why I said it's a bit deep, you know, because I'm actually hearing it, you know, like hearing it right now differently from the big sister stand of, okay, we'll pray together, we'll fast together. Women really go through a lot, you see. So if she doesn't want to go through that, fair on her. If it's a career that is more important to her, fair as well. I respect that. I can do, you know me, I can do it. Anything that will me, I come from number one right now in my life because I've done all that, I've been through all that, you know, then in the end, you're not praised for it. They think it's our right to suffer. And the guy have his career and everything he wants to do, and he's going for, and you're the one, you know, with the kids and everything. In my own case, you're not even allowed to have a nanny, you know. So it's a lot of situations. So me, I respect her. I say kudos to her, and I can do it. And if he goes, fine. She's tough and strong for her to come to that decision that, listen, if you go have a baby and you guys don't come back, you don't come back, fair. She's 51. Why put her through that? But if it's that important to him, he should go for it. I don't see anything wrong with what she's done.
Thank you for that. Funsho, and I'm gonna flip this because you can see how supportive Celia, Ajike, and Shadi has been. They're trying to help this man realize his dreams by saying, you go out there, go father a child, and if you come back, you come back. If you don't come back, that's it. As a man, if Tammy were to be, the roles were reversed, I want you to put yourself in that position. Let's use us as a relationship. Would you allow your wife, oh no, not even me, because you won't be able to think about me, use Lola and say, Lola, let me release you to the streets and collect children. And then would you be able to do what Tammy is doing for her husband at the moment as a man? And you know, I want you to think about it because it's very convenient for women to be able to make this decision, and you men just slide back into the world as into man's world out there. We're not casting you for it, but I want you to think about it.
Okay. So I'm going to answer your question, but before I do that, I want to just appreciate the ladies. A lot of ladies out there are able to make this kind of decisions. It's hard, but they do make it, and sometimes we take it for granted. My case might not be exactly the same case, but I passed through something similar. And the only condition I was given is do not bring an African woman or do not go with an African woman. Yeah, go with European, just so at least in the end, we might take the baby and like that, and the relationship might end. Because I had to wait for my wife. I told you I'm married very late. And when I eventually, she was still in school, I had to wait for her to finish. And I was like, guy, time they go, me, I want picking, that kind of thing. Even when we eventually married, we had to stay another maybe 1 or 2 years because of some other things. We had to completely finish, transfer jobs from part-time to full-time, and we couldn't interrupt the process. And eventually, when the baby was supposed to come, we lost it. At that point, she was like, she was crying, she was down and everything. Emotionally, she was just locked up, and it was like, see, I know you need this and you have waited this long. Go get another woman. No problem. I'm not pissed. Go get another woman. But my only condition, I said, my only condition is I don't want an African woman, because those ones, they will not shift.
They won't go.
They will tell me to stand
They
up.
won't go.
They
want to
will
reap the fruit.
Equally. They will not
They
go.
say shoot, they say stand up.
They will say go.
He said, they won't tell me to
Who
shift. They will
does
tell me to stand up.
Yeah.
So I don't want that one. Get European, get the baby. We'll take care of the baby. And by the time, not that she's infertile, she's not infertile.
Yeah.
But then we can try again.
Trying to make you happy. That's a
You know,
compromise.
You see where women are so selfless.
We
But
do
I
a
know
lot.
in the Bible,
Right, that
was not
how
Abraham and
selfless
Sarah.
women
When
are.
Sarah could not have her children, she
No,
said,
but
"It's
Yori, I know of a man.
No?
I know of a man that told his wife the same thing. It was a secret between the two of them. How the secret got out was she opened a big mouth and told her best friend that became her best enemy. Because the man couldn't have kids, and he told his wife, because it's like a shame that I don't know, that probably is a second or third marriage. And he told
for
her,
me, let me.
and that's where my answer comes.
I think we
to
should
Yori's
use this
question.
medium. Sorry for Lucius. We should use this medium to begin to speak. You know, for me, like now we're having the Nigerian Fertility Awareness Week in January.
okay.
I'm very big on the Nigerian fertility scene. Now, male factor infertility is going to be much more than female factor infertility in a few years to come. Why? A woman is born with all her eggs. A man is born with no sperm. So invariably, what we are trying to say is that a man it's what he eats, is what he takes in that forms no sperm. Now we are in the area of wrong kitty kitty, wrong kata kata, as
Boom, boom, boom.
yeah. What's the name of all these recreational drugs? Zazu. All these things are happening. So it's going to, a time is going to come that all these young boys, ages, let's say 16 to 24, will start we'll start getting married, and we'll see the full-blown effects in about 10 years. Women are going to be more fertile than men, and men are going to have problems. So we're going to be having things like this that men will now begin to say, please go out or begin to embrace donor sperm. Many women have embraced donor egg. It's just that we don't know. Because they use their husband's sperm. Many women, many children we are seeing today, they are not biologically linked to the women. Many children. But like you said, many women will just take it in and just hold on to that and just continue to run. We could continue to soldier on. If infertility for male factor infertility is on the rise, men should begin to not say it's only one woman that has problem. Problem. Yeah, it's all of us. We should not be. No, it's true. And even if this infertility is very funny, you see women. It's not like they just say you can't have children. Just continue having fun. One day, one egg, one mysterious egg will just waka one place. That's why you are seeing women pregnant at 50. At times, even those women pregnant at 50, it's not that they went to collect donor egg or donor sperm. They were just busy enjoying their lives, and one day, one baby just woke. So, we need to open our minds about infertility. At times God steps in, and at times it doesn't. So we should begin to even embrace childless not by choice.
I also think that partners should not put so much pressure on the other party. Like, you want kids, and I know it's painful. I know Africans, we don't like to leave our marriages and all that. But listen, I am of the support that if you really want to have kids, I know someone that is going through stuff right now, and his wife is stressing. They've spent over God knows how many millions over the last 10 years trying to get kids. And for him, he's fine. He's saying, whether we have kids or not, I'm okay. But she is not. And she's now putting pressure on him that, every call is having an affair. everything is, there's something going on. And
Yes,
he actually said,
she's going to feel that way, and
I
this is
can
another
understand.
problem where Nigerians don't
let me-
embrace. We should
Yeah.
embrace seeing psychologists. We should embrace
they've
seeing
done that.
counselors.
They've been saying they've been
Let's
abroad.
embrace
they've done
all
Let's
these
bring it in.
things.
Let me go to Celia for 2 seconds. And I'm more like, I know I get that we're talking about this, and I'm happy we have a big platform. We should showcase things like that. But let me go to you, Celia. Given how we've grown or we've been raised, like it's a nuclear family, you're expected to have children. How do you then navigate a childless marriage without letting the drums of the society get to you? Because I think this is one of the reasons why she's bent and saying, you know what, go and bring the child. She's still catering to the stereotypical, every family has to have a child.
It's very difficult because it's innate, right? We're brought up when once we land like this, our parents are already talking about their grandchildren, right? And you sort of you're nurtured with that mentality that when you get to a certain age, you get married and then you have children. However, we now have to do what makes us happy. And I have some friends that will say, I don't want a child. And that's not because of anything. That's just because they don't actually want a child.
Yes.
But then I'm thinking, how can you say you don't want a child, man? Don't worry. When you meet the right man, you're going to change your mentality. Because for me, I feel, no, you have to have a child. But they don't want a child. So sometimes we're already brought up to think that way. And it's difficult for us to say otherwise, right? For example, the person you just mentioned, Shade, the husband is saying, I don't really care if we don't have a child. But the woman is like, no, I want one. Why? Is that because she's been brought up to think so?
Yeah.
Or is that because she's thinking, if I don't have a child, people are going to laugh at me? Or is it because she's thinking,
It's all.
I'm seeing all these children, all these mothers, pregnant women with their children, and the children are growing up and all that, and I want something like that. Even now, you have just one child, they're still, yeah, why have you not had more?
The society pressure is annoying.
You
I
understand?
think for her, some women are natural mothers. They love having children. They are you can leave them with. I have a friend. Her house is always full of kids. If you tell her you're traveling and drop your child there, she's happy. She will take the child with all the crazy noises. I would run away. My 2 stresses me out. Weekends, I want peace, but for her house is, you now be counting which one is your own there, which one, like she loves children. So if that kind of a person doesn't have, I don't know what she would do.
Yeah.
She's the kind of person that probably will steal, just to have.
And I
Because she
think,
loves.
I think as Africans, right? As Africans, we now need to start breaking away from the norm. Right? We need to start breaking away from the norm. Imi Edo just had a child by surrogacy.
I love her.
Absolutely
I
love
love
the
her.
woman.
I love
Funke
that.
Akindele had a child by surrogacy.
I love that.
For African, a lot of Africans would have been mothers today. But now they are going to now die as motherless people because they refuse to go down the route of surrogacy or they refuse to go down the route of adoption because it is not the norm. Now, if you really want a child and you want to be a mother, if that's what makes you happy as a person, damn the consequences or damn what other people are going to say. Because if they were in your shoes, they will do exactly the same thing. I know of somebody that she went and adopted the child, right? The child is not even, when she adopted the baby was not even a newborn baby. The baby was like a year, maybe 2 years old. But for some reason, she felt the need to call round and call people and say, oh, I just gave birth.
I know.
And this was not even a newborn baby. Do you understand? So sometimes people are more interested in making people around them happy. They're more interested in, what are they going to say about me, than thinking of what works for their family, what makes them happy, and how are they going to achieve that which they believe will be the future for them. For example, having grandchildren. For me, I don't see any reason wrong with, because I think maybe because I came to London in quite an early age and I've seen a lot of things and my mindset has changed. Do you understand? If I get to a certain place in my life and I feel like, okay, do you know what? I don't want to carry my child. I'm going to use surrogacy. I'm going to do this. In fact, I don't even want to use surrogacy. I don't want to have children. I just want to go and adopt. I'll just do it. I don't care what anybody is going to say.
No.
There are lots of children out there that are looking for mothers, that are
Thank
looking for
you.
people to look after them. I was watching a video the other day about this cultism in Nigeria, right?
That one was
And they showed where this guy, they had cultists had killed the man, and the man had 5 children.
5 children. I saw it.
And
I
the wife
cried.
was crying, and my heart was torn into pieces. I was like, oh my God, I wish I can just take one of this child and look after them. Do you understand? Because there are a lot of children out there like that. So why do you have to think that the child has to come from you? If you have tried for the child to come from you and it cannot, do
Please.
not kill yourself.
Please.
Adopt, surrogacy.
Women need to be realistic.
the
Men
thing-
need to be realistic as well. I know it's easier said than done, especially if the woman is at fault, has the one with the issue, right? If the man is not, the woman feels that, oh, I know you can have a baby, and then if you love your husband, I know it's hard, but for me, I would advise that woman, if you don't want to try surrogacy, adopt. And that child, if you give that child love, it will give you back. I know someone in my family.
Everything you guys are saying is very, very true. It's very
very
valid. But the truth of the matter is that when you are not walking in those shoes,
Yes.
so like you, the two of you have children, it's difficult for you to advise another woman on what to do. I understand. That's why we still have many people that have not chosen adoption, that have not chosen this thing. At times, it takes a while. A woman, at times, they want to just exhaust everything.
All the
Yeah,
options.
which is
And
fair
when I
enough.
say exhaust, they don't mind
Fair
spending
enough.
their last kobo.
Which is fair enough. I didn't have kids immediately. It wasn't like when I wanted to have children, I started having children. I'm one of the people that you call older moms. My last one is just 3, and then my 40s, almost going crippling to 50s. But I understand that. I've got sisters, I've got sister-in-laws. We're going through that journey together. Like you said, I'm not walking in their shoes right now. But this one that I was about to tell you, now she's in her 50s. She just adopted a child. And the joy that I see when I speak to her.
Yes.
Thank you
for mentioning her age, but it took her time to arrive at that spot. And that's usually the problem.
Not just that taking her time. The system in Nigeria also messed her up. It takes so long for the process of adoption in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think when we talk about children fertility, and I'll come to you, Funsho, we all have personal stories. I've shared mine. It took me 8 years to get the one that I have. And, when you go through that, I always joke, my sister-in-laws, all they had to do was sneeze and they're pregnant. And people would come to you when they're doing the baby dedication and give you the child and push you forward, the child, so that your child will come. And I'm like, I'm not damaged goods. It wasn't just happening. And it got to a stage. That's why I've got very, very, very loving relationship with my siblings, especially my younger sister, Auntie. She felt what I was going through and offered me an egg. And she was only 24. And I was like, I can't do that to you, because I don't want a stage when you now get to a stage when you want to have your own child. You now have an issue and you've already given me maybe that is the one good egg you have. Do you understand? So fertility, it's not easy, either adoption, surrogacy, even with IVF. I could remember I was getting 7 injections every day and I had to get that for 21 days. It was like fertilizing a chicken. Yeah, phone shop. And you have to go in to have these very intricate scans where they probe into you. I don't want to know. You're on your period and they're checking if you have eggs, sizing you up, taking pictures, and then you get your booster shot, and then you go for surgery, and then they harvest the eggs, and then they tell you out of the 8 that they've taken out, there's only 2 that is viable. You got to fuck. I've been doing this for 21 days. I'm like a Greek chicken. And all you can tell me out of the 8 is only you got 2. And then they put the 2 in. And then they tell you, we're not gods. We're going to put these 2 in, and you may be happy at the end of the 2 weeks. And then you get to your first appointment. Like it happened to me. At the end of 2 weeks, I was so happy there's no blood. I got to where I was going to do my blood test, and I felt a trickle. I wanted to die. Because you got that.
I didn't want to go anywhere. I just sat at my house and did the test. And when he just prayed, I just went to drink more tea.
I wanted to die. So you can imagine what we go through. And eventually for sure. And then when you eventually have to go through
emotions.
The emotions.
You'll be crying. Crying like a baby.
you are bloated up with these injections, you cry, you're up, you're down. The people still expect you to smile. You still have to
I
go to
know.
work. You still
Or
have to
come
go.
to
So women
baby
go through anything. So let me
dedication.
come to
Yeah.
you, Funshaw. You can see all what Celia, myself, Ajike, and Shadi have said, the sacrifice we go through to have children. Men, why is it that it's so easy for you to just not worry when there's no child? Is it because you don't bleed? Is it because you don't have to invest any eggs?
Because they have a
Why is
backup
it-
plan.
Let's assume you don't have backup plans. Why is it so easy that you're so blasé about, well, there's no child, there's no child?
Firstly, I'm still trying to digest every information you just divulged. I didn't know it was this hard.
It is hard.
Injections, 21 days, investing the eggs.
I get
Man.
7 every day for 20
Some years after years, some 5-6 times a year.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of messed up stuff. And shout out to all the ladies out there. It's not easy. Now, so when we're all talking that, okay, we surrogacy, adoption, and all those things, I was like, well, for me, if the baby's not coming, so one thing I check is I also go with the test with my wife or partner, and if I'm infertile, then there's no point. Then whenever she wants to get baby, if she wants to go out to get baby and bring it in, no problem. But for guys, I think there is this, how do I put it? There is this contentment that you tried, and you know, there's nothing you can do for someone that has a low sperm count or the sperm is not even moving at all. Do you want to do magic, or are you sure you get? So there's this contentment that, okay, let me just live my life, that the baby cannot come. Another thing is our society, the way it paints it.
Yeah.
Thank God that GK has mentioned a lot of valid facts and points here, which is the society doesn't believe there's male infertility.
Yeah.
They believe that if there's no kid,
It's the woman's fault.
Woman. So when I got married and I didn't give birth immediately, like I told you, I was waiting. Not that we were trying and it wasn't working. No, I was waiting for my wife to get ready so I can do it. And my sister started calling. I was like, the next time you call, I'm going to cut you off. Because as a society, they expect to.
The pressure.
So from my side, in fact, my uncle called once and I said, more respecting you, you. I respect you so much. Next time you call me, don't talk about this again. And he didn't. Even when I told him my first child was coming, he was like, he was when I said I should not ask him. So I did that. But even that's from my own side. Now let's look at her own side. Her father came and the aunts, they came. And she wasn't pregnant. That's after almost a year after marriage. And she wasn't pregnant. And the dad that was playing with us, suddenly the mood changed. And it was like, sorry, Celia, we'll translate. Once
you're married, you should have children.
Why? What are you waiting for? And she had to sit him down and talk to him. But still, the man didn't understand until the aunts came in and tried to put in words. So it is the society. It is the society. The society puts that pressure on the woman, doesn't put it on the man. Even if the man is the one that's infertile, society still doesn't recognize it. So there's no pressure. So if I cannot have child, I'm cool with it. I'm down. There's nothing. That is why it is more pressure on the woman than the man. In fact, for me, in my own case, if I find that I'm infertile, I prefer surrogacy than adoption. Surrogacy because
May I ask why?
Yeah, or maybe not surrogacy, or maybe I prefer someone to donate sperm. And I still know that it's my wife's eggs, so it's still part of me, part of my family. But adoption is a no for me.
I think the adoption is maybe because it goes from stages, isn't it? So you try by yourself and you can't, right? And then maybe the next option will be surrogacy, and if that still doesn't work, then you go for the adoption.
I think it's like that's how it is.
But if we have tried the other ones and it doesn't work, then let us just live our life now.
Abby,
I don't want
thing
adoption.
is, but the thing is,
personally, I
Joshua,
don't
that will
I
not
just
now be
said-
your decision, right? Because if your wife is such that wants a child, right,
Exactly.
then you have to be given in that aspect and think, okay, well, I'm not just going to think about myself. I'm going to think about my wife as well, right? So you have to
You have to
something
communicate. You have to talk. Like
I
in my family,
understand.
Can I just
my
ask the four of you, what is wrong with adoption? As in, why is it that when, because I see a lot of, I see a lot of white people who adopt a lot of black children, and there's nothing wrong in interracial adoption. But I just I'm wondering, why is it that we blacks or people of African origin,
like
or
what Ajike
Nigerians,
just said now. She just said about inheriting people's
Madness.
madness. You know, we Africans, we have that mentality that you don't know where she's coming
It's not
from.
meant.
I mean,
Me personally,
that's personally,
I'm
anyway,
not,
but
it's
that's
not
how
that
it is.
I
Other
cannot
people feel
adopt,
differently as well.
but
So
hold on,
my
Ajike.
parents, in a
Hold on.
way, our parents adopted children. We just did not know. They adopted our cousins, they
yeah.
adopted our uncles, they adopted our aunties. And the experience I had with those kind of adoption, I'm not ready to walk that line. I think for me, that's the first. I think most Africans have experienced adoption. It's not that we did not give it that name.
Yes.
We didn't give it that name, but most of our cousins, you know, our parents would, like my own parents would go to the village. What my dad did then was that each of my siblings, their age grade, he will go and bring somebody of that age and bring that person, and wahala will start. So me personally, my own experience with it was not the best. I don't know about you people.
I had a good experience. I grew up in my
But-
house. There's always lots of kids in my house. We don't differentiate. We still call ourselves sisters, you know.
I'm not sisters with my cousins.
Even with the house helps, my father treated all of us the same way. And you know, and like you said, I understand what you said about competition, because sometimes it's like, look at that child, she's first and you're second and all that. But if there is love, I don't know. I don't have a problem with adoption.
Yeah, talking
But
maybe the people that you were surrounded with. I said something in the beginning of this. There are some
Personal.
people that are inherently good.
Okay.
That word inherent is very important. I have cousins that we still have that relationship, the brother-sister relationship. Yes, we
Okay.
have. And I have some that we don't have it.
Yeah.
Why? Because they were inherently, in my own eyes, they were inherently bad.
So yours is a personal
head.
situation. Anyway,
If you like cut your head on a platter, they were still not satisfied. So for me, those were the experiences I had. That, okay, what if I bring another child into my home? It's peaceful now. I will now go and bring somebody. Voila, will now. If you give birth to some children that I give birth to, they will be the one. I watch crime and investigation. There's some children that kill their parents, kill their brother, kill their sister.
Yes.
So but you just as you know that, okay, that one is your child. Somehow in your heart of hearts, you will stretch your heart. But one child cannot stress me. I'll return you from where I went to pay for you.
Oh my God. Okay.
Me, that's why
in my
I
own
don't touch. I know that's why I don't touch that topic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So in my own case,
So
in my own case,
In my own case. So if you know your heart, if you know you don't have big heart, you don't have heart to love unconditionally, please don't go and bring somebody's child and
If
come
you
and suffer the
cannot
person's
love
child.
your boyfriend's son, your daughter, your stepchildren,
please don't
don't
do
go and
stepmother.
adopt. You will kill them. Oh, I'm just telling you now.
Because
hold on, guys. Let me go to
my own child. The Bible says love always. The Bible did not say like always. Even the one I gave birth to, there's some days I will look at him. Are you sure? Let me check my birth certificate again. Let me check. So you can imagine the one you gave birth to.
Oh my God.
You cannot. There's somebody you do not give birth to. For real, you don't make the person said one day. So please, if you know that you don't have the love of Jesus completely in your heart, please leave the children for the government.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to Funsho. Funsho, you were saying.
So my own condition is, or my own reasons are different. I'm sorry if I sound selfish, but it's just me, my kind of person. I've said it on this show. I'm from a very, very, very poor background. There were days we went without food, you know, and we had to make do of the cheapest things on the market to feed. Despite the fact that we couldn't eat out, you get. So even when they bring food on Christmas, we cannot eat it, and we were hungry. So it was that poor. That's kind of family I grew up with. So I'm a bit selfish when it comes to my money. So if you give me my child, I'll take care of my child. If you do surrogacy, I know your head is involved or whatever, I will still take care of the child. If we cannot get all those ones, why go for adoption again when I have to spend the little money that's supposed to use to enjoy my life on the child? sorry, I said it, I might be selfish.
Oh,
But it's
wow.
my own
Okay.
reason. Why not go? If you, like you said, we have to discuss. If she really wants it, if that's what she really wants, then I have no choice. We'll go for the adoption. But if not, lady, cool down now. Let us spend this money on our life. It's only
Well,
one
will
life.
you
we
let
have.
her go and have a baby elsewhere? Like she can go and sleep with another man and have the baby and bring to you and you take
But
care of the
instead of
child.
sleeping with another man, she can insert the sperm now. Does he have to do sleeping? They don't have to do sleeping
Right.
now.
But if it was
No, we're just
if it was
talking.
you that needed to give another woman your sperm, you would prefer
I
to sleep
can
with her.
donate also now. See, forget, I'm not talking about pushing on the streets now. Pushing on the streets we like to do, sure, fine. But we're not talking about
Oh
doing
my
that. We're talking about
God.
fertility and childbearing now. I can also donate the sperm. I don't have to do for the lady to give me the child. So the same way, she doesn't have to collect. She can.
Okay, let me say something, Yori, please. Let me say something quickly because now we're talking about this topic and it's actually as interesting as it is, very deep for a lot of women. A lot of women are going through it. I personally, in my family, we don't stress people. I think because we've experienced this growing up with my stepmom, we know and we see a struggle. My mom is one of those women that will sneeze and she will have.
They're pregnant.
She had 6 alive. I think she had 8 births, 2 died. So she was okay. But with my stepmom, it was like we saw, the other side of it. We saw how things are. And then, if you come from an African country with a Yoruba background where they think that there's witches and wizards flying about, we got the brunt of whatever she was going through. Some people will say, oh, love your husband's children, they'll bring children, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of stuff going on. But what I'm trying to say is, I think the society needs to back off and let people be and don't put pressure on them. My sisters-in-laws are going through stuff. They will never tell you I've ever asked them or come what's going on or harass them or even tell my brother you need to have a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Even there was an incident with one of them and I was like, excuse me, if that was me, you carry another person's baby, we will be having a problem, that kind of thing. I don't want to hear. So they know me. So I think if we don't pressurize the newly wedded or the couples, they will be able to talk, communicate and see what they want. But if every time mother-in-laws come, she's already giving you hints, she's buying you things, she's making remarks, you feel it. And then also friends and families with newborn babies, like you said, they will just give you the baby. Some will even say, if you take care of the baby, maybe the baby will bring another, like this.
They did that to me.
It's just much drama, and it's not fair the women or the man, because men are going through it as well. Like I said, I know someone that told his wife to go and sort herself out. He doesn't want to know. He's taking care of the baby. How the secret came out was the friend that she had a fight with.
You see, that woman, it's not everything you have to share. There are things
Exactly.
that you take to your grave. Why would you tell your best friend that? Why?
It's a scandal. It's
Oh,
a scandal.
God,
That was also
honestly.
that's what started the fracas in London. So you just have to just.
Your child is your child, whether adopted, whether surrogate, as long as you can walk that line. That child is your child. I really don't. To me, it's just that for me, I don't question how people got their children. I don't ask questions. I mind my business, basically.
Yeah.
But for me, I just think sometimes, I mean, I don't really care how you get your child, right? I think I'm just allergic to lies. Okay. So you don't have to tell me, but you don't have to say it either. Do you understand? Like, for example, this person I was making reference to earlier, she adopted a 1 or 2 year old child, but felt the need to call her family members and tell them she just gave birth.
So no baby pictures.
Ask you
didn't have to say, so where's baby pictures?
Do you understand? They didn't ask you, okay, where are your pictures when you were pregnant? You don't have. Nobody asked her, but she felt the need to just call her family members and said, oh, I just had a baby.
No, she used the wrong
Celia,
word.
do you think it's our society? Do you think it's our
it's
society that has made this woman feel the need
Yeah.
to actually validate this child's presence?
But if it was a newborn child now, it's understandable. But this was a 1 year old.
We have some sisters and aunties that will now remind this child in future that your mother didn't give birth to you. So could it be because of our society that is kind of pressurized?
If you adopt a child, you should let the child know along the line.
Thank you.
I agree.
If I feel people should be able to, this down generation is different from our own. You should be more at some point like, oh, okay, I did surrogacy. We didn't use you. Maybe I wasn't your mom. I'm not biologically your mother. We have to let them know what is going on, especially because of all this cancer, diabetes. There's so much going on. I cannot just be quiet about things like that. But like you said, society, the African society actually pressures a lot of couples into, divulge. Even when I was waiting there, there were people that wanted to know what we were doing. Have you gone here? Have you gone there? They will start telling you things. Go and see this doctor. And at the end of the day, yourself, you are stressed, running from doctor, running from pillar to post.
Yes.
They want to give their infuse. They want to let you know
all kinds of things.
And over time, like now, if you ask me any question, I've had people that have told me that I've had a woman tell my husband that maybe we didn't know how to do it. And by the time I went to their place and I asked her, I said, okay, your own sister, so okay, is this person married? What happened to this your sister? Why are they poor? What happened to this person? Why does they have a broken leg? Me too, I know how to find faults. When you come out, I don't go to whatever response. There and there, I will give it to you. There and there, I will give it to you. So a lot of people, we need to learn to mind our business because you have this number of children too. I know a family. She had 4 children. She has buried 2. She had 4 children, and she had this life, because we are saying life like this doesn't we see tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're only just trying our best. I've had an auntie that didn't have any children, and it's children that buried her. Yoruba will say, meaning that you have children, it's children that will bury you. You that don't have children, it's children that will still bury you.
Yeah.
I have a son, but I can tell you here and here, still here my witness. I have children. Check my WhatsApp status. I have children, different children from different angles. They are my children. If they now decide I don't want to be my child, you can be going. But me, I've adopted you as my own child. So so we just have to build our self-confidence. People need to mind their business, and however people choose to have their children, like this woman now has allowed her husband to step out to go and have your child like this. Nobody doesn't want to have stress. At 51, maybe she get pregnant. Even me, as it is, it's surrogacy that is sure for me because I was very ugly. I was very ugly in pregnancy. Hey, very ugly, very fat. In fact, they were calling me baby elephant, baby whale, my head joined my neck. My neck is so long before. You cannot imagine, it just joined the head on the shoulder bus. But I'm not the stress, the wahala, everything I went through. I'm not willing, honestly, to go through it again. But if you ask me, I would like to have a baby. But would I want to go through that process? No.
No, me too.
Okay.
No.
In closing, because I'm mindful of time, in closing, we've all talked about different forms of having ways to have kids. We talk about adoption, donor sperm, donor egg, surrogacy. Now, in closing, and I want us to kind of take a 1 minute advising family out there. If at any point you've taken an unconventional way to have a child, i.e. via donor sperm, donor egg, adoption, at what point do you need to A, tell this child, B, do you need to tell this child? Because, sometimes they say when a kid don't need to know something, why volunteer information that is not necessary? And 3, anybody's business. So I will go to Funshaw first. If you have gone the unconventional way to have a child, at what point should you tell this child? Should you actually tell the child so that you don't rock their world? You're the father, you're the mother, you're doing what you should do as a parent. Why should you tell them they're not from you? And is it anybody's business?
Well, it's not anybody's business, but so it's 2 ways. You could decide not to, and you could decide to. For me, I think I will tell the child. Which is when the child is old enough and can handle such information. Maybe like 18, adult. When they can handle that information and I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. Nothing changes. You're still my child. But in case you hear this outside because of some wicked people, or like Ajike said, we don't know medical conditions that might happen. Not until when you have accident or want something, they don't want to do it, you now find out. And I say, why didn't you tell me all this one? That's kind of shit. So maybe I know some ladies, when they want to give birth, they have to take some certain injections so that it doesn't fight the baby or something like that. So that at 18, anything can happen. And the child should be ready enough to handle the information. It doesn't stop anything, but I think the child deserves to know once they are an adult and mature enough to handle that kind of information.
Okay, thank you. Celia, same question.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything Francia said. I will tell the child maybe when they're 18, 20, when I think they're mentally able to handle that
Mm,
information.
okay.
And the reason I will tell them, you see, I think the scenarios might differ. Okay, for example, you see that Sade's friend, yeah, that went to tell her friend
Friend.
that the children are not her husband's children. In a situation like that, I think it's important to tell the children, because before you know it, that best friend will go and tell her children, and
Hmm.
then the children will tell their friends, and then before you know it, when they quarrel, the woman will now go and tell somebody else, and before you know it, this child comes home one day and says, actually, hold on, who is my parent, right? Because I've just heard outside that you're not my biological parent, and that's an issue. Okay, but if it's something that you're doing and you're keeping it private, then by all means tell the child when they get to that age when they can understand. But if you have told everybody already and you haven't told the child, somebody that you've told is going to tell the child. So it's
Yeah.
better for that information to come from you. Um, and also, because I know, Ajika, you mentioned it earlier when we're all just talking in the beginning, and you said, do we know how long these people have been waiting or how long they've tried? All I'm saying is, if you really want to have a child and you've tried naturally, you've tried surrogacy, or you've tried however you want to try and it's not working, all I'm just saying is, don't leave it until you're 50. Don't leave
Mm,
it until you're 55, 60
yeah, I
before you
think it's
then decide,
selfish.
actually, I
Yeah,
want to go and adopt. Because by the time you adopt at that age, you're not able to really give
take
your
care of the
all to that
child.
child
Yeah,
physically. And that would also be looked at during the assessment for the adoption. So I've heard stories where people have tried, they've gotten married, they've tried and they couldn't, they adopted. And before you know it, a year after they adopt, the woman becomes pregnant and she's able to have her own children. So I think it's just a matter of weighing it up and don't wait until, because by the time you get older, you then come to a point where you're like, you know what, at this old age, I can't be bothered anymore. And you've indirectly robbed yourself of the opportunity of actually being a mom. And I
yeah,
understand that not everybody that carries a child is a mom.
yeah.
There's loads of facts to prove that. But what I'm saying is, if you really want to be a mom, then just do what you need to do. You don't have to tell anybody what you're doing. If you don't trust people, don't tell anybody. But please, all I'm saying is, if I did not ask you, don't come and tell me I just had twins yesterday when I saw you the day before you were not
I had
pregnant.
twins yesterday.
You understand? Because
Oh,
you understand, because you don't need to give me that information, but you don't need to lie to me at the same time. Don't tell me you just had a child when the child is 1 year old, and you just tell me I just had a child yesterday. If I want to come and see the child and I'm seeing a 1 year old baby and you said you just gave birth yesterday, how is that going to wash? Okay, so
mm.
we need to, when you do something, just own it. If you cannot own it, then I don't
Don't do
know.
it.
Don't
Okay,
do it,
Ajike,
basically.
same
Oh, I
question.
was gonna say something.
Wait, Chadi, I'll come to you. Ajike, same question.
Everybody has
Should
said it
you
though.
act?
If you
Yeah.
you don't owe any other person an explanation, but I feel you owe the child.
Yeah.
Even if or not, me, I'm very big on genetics, biology, and stuff like that. Let them know what they are running with. Let them know what they are, if you have information about their parents, their genetics, if you can, please hand it over to them. Let them know. But other than that, it's nobody's business how you want to be a mother. My sister's children are my children. I always tell her she only gave them the last name. They are my own.
Mm,
The same thing my brother will tell, so I
Mhm.
think it's just like that. Just
yeah.
So
you
at what
don't owe.
age do you think a child should be given that information?
Me personally, that 18 and Kineko is too far
Thank you.
for
I
me.
agree with Ajike.
It's too late. You'd have been dropping the hint small, somehow. You just, just let them
Around what
know.
age?
It's around, like my son's age now, he's going to 9. You don't have to really go. It's just the same way like now. He understands, he knows what sex is. He knows, there are some things that you just let them know. Use anatomically correct, this is your penis, this is a vagina. This, the same way, you just be doing it small, you just be dropping it. Somebody, you see somebody's chest, not all of us come from the same mother, not all of us come, just be saying it so that then you tell them, wow. Because I know a lady on Instagram, she said the day she was told, for a very long time, she became very angry at her mom.
Yeah.
But over time, it took her time. I think maybe she separated from the brain. Why people do things upside down? She first of all went.
Tell you people.
Went like the prodigal daughter. She now, when she now went outside, she realized that things. She now
The
came back
streets are not
outside.
easy.
maybe she found out somehow. But I think the shock was just too much for her. So at times, if they had been, according to her, I was like, they should have just been giving her little by little information and let her know that okay, there's something called this, there's something called that, there's something called this. So I think that's just it.
Shade, 1 minute, and then we round up.
Right. For me, I think it depends on the age of the child that you're adopting, the color of the child, because I mean, you cannot wait till 18 to tell a white girl, a white baby, that I'm not your mother.
I'm not your mother.
No.
You guys said it, those of you. You guys said it already.
But I think 18 is too. 18 is. I think from the age of if I adopted a baby, I will start telling her from 3 and 4, or by the time she's 5, she knows that mommy is not a biological mother, but I'm also mommy, because we've had time to walk through it, we've processed it together. If we need counseling, we will do that. I will inform the school, so no one, especially when you're in Nigeria, somebody will tell you and tell you you're a bastard. People are very malicious.
Yes, so yes. So
I would tell that child from, as long as if she's a sharp babe, I pray I have a sharp babe when I'm adopted. From 3, I'm hinting, mommy loves you and this is what you have right now. But somebody, produced you for mommy and gave mommy a gift. You will start processing it gradually to what she can understand. But when she's 6 and 7, sit her down. Honey,
yes.
I took you from the orphanage. I don't know who your mom is, but we can try and find your mom. If we're here in this country, if we're not in the country, I'll tell the child what I know and we'll walk through it together. So he or she knows what we're dealing with. I'm not going to wait till when she's 18 and she'll say, where is my mother? By that time, they formed, especially when you're telling teenagers, at that age, they don't even really like you that much. So you're not saying that I'm not your mother.
Yes.
You just created like a war, unnecessary. So take them through the process. So even if anyone tells them, they'll fight back and say, yes, she's not my biological mom, but she's my mom. She's aware. She's not disappointed. She's not crying, because these kids, they're very funny. One day that you've told them off, that's when they will remember that you're not their mother.
Yes.
Or if I was with my real mother, she probably won't say this to me. And I tell my kid, this is me. My Nigerianness will come out when I'm talking to them. Don't play with me, But that's your child. But once that child knows that you didn't give birth to her, any shut up, any you're crazy, is because you're not my mother. So I will take you through that process at a very young age. We will decide. Kajike will say if we are returning you or not. Can I not
You know what? Well, I think we've kind of thoroughly trashed this because we wanted to see it from both angles and also putting the woman in the middle of this, because at times men, sorry from short to pussy, you guys lose focus of the so many sacrifices that we give to make life and the world move as it is. We wish Tammy Roman all the best. Yes. I understand that her husband actually does not want to go through with it. Yes, he said, I am not interested in having another child or having any child outside of both of us. You have 2 children and I will support you to raise your 2 children. He's an only child. And he said, if it is God's will for him to have a child, God will make it happen. So until next week, when we'll bring another juicy topic, as we always, I love this panel.